Welcome in, one and all, to another album review. Digging into my archives here for some older notes that I never turned into a video, but now that I've got the time, I want to discuss Guilt Trip's Armour of Angels, Guilt Trip Array. I'm going to call them hardcore throughout the videos. People call them crossover, thrashy metalcore, whatever. Either way, hardcore band from Manchester, UK. And I was lucky enough to catch these English boys 2024 at the Tote when they played their debut headline show in Australia. I can't remember who they were supporting in the country at the time, but they played their own show, and it was great. That was touring Severance at the time, their previous album, and I really liked that album, so I was pretty excited for Armour of Angels to come out, especially when I saw the album art. It is beautiful. I'll throw it up on screen right now so you can all bask in its glory. Very reminiscent of Guido Reni's The Archangel Michael casting down Satan, which is a favorite art piece of mine. I'm a big fan of that. That one depicts Michael with a sword. Other versions of that scene that has been painted over the years have him with a spear. This album cover, you don't have to choose, alright? This guy's dual wielding. We got Michael with spear and sword, just casting down demons. All in all, beautiful art piece, beautiful album art. I'm a sucker for classical art. I'm a sucker for Catholic art. They got absolute drip. But you can't judge a book by its cover. And getting into the album, it is great music that I forget even as I listen to it. It is 100% enjoyable, 0% memorable. And what I mean by that is the whole album kind of feels like the same song. And before I even got into it, I was warned about this by my old sparring partner, Connor. We were sitting in the garden one day talking about the best albums of 2026, and he mentioned Guilt Trip, but couldn't really tell me anything about it. He's like, it's a great album to listen to, but you don't really remember any of it after. I couldn't hum a riff or a lyric back at you. And then in that, I mentioned Lionheart's album from earlier in the year, and he said that was a bit too cheesy for him. And yeah, I'll admit, Lionheart is a cheesy hardcore band. But say what you want about them being cheesy. They're memorable for their goofiness, and it draws me back in. Guilt Trip might be deeper in their lyrics, more technical in their instrumentals, more legit in the scene, but on this album, they're just a lot less memorable. Makes me think that maybe there is some merit in striking simple art. If you think of that art piece where they just taped a banana to the wall. Now, if I asked you to draw that, you could probably draw a banana with a strip of tape against it. If I asked you to draw The Birth of Venus, a absolutely beautiful art piece, I think you'd really struggle to do that. Sometimes things that are simple are memorable. And this might upset some people, but I think hardcore in general is a genre of bananas taped to walls. And you can try and create The Birth of Venus out of bananas taped to walls, but you're just going to be smearing mashed banana into plasterboard. This metaphor is falling apart, so let's get back into the music. I think the weakest part by far on this album is the vocals. Very stock standard metalcore vocalist, completely lacking in range and clarity, with no memorable lyrics, mostly because they just don't cut through the mix. There's this weird thing on the vocals. I don't know if it's an effect they've put on or just a result of bad mixing or mastering, but it's got this kind of very slight reverb that just stops it from cutting clearly and makes it kind of sit behind the rest of the instrumentals. And it turns this performance, which is, it's fine, it's an okay performance, but it turns this middling performance bad. And then without a good vocal performance propping it up, the instrumentals are good, but they're lacking memorable riffs. There's a lot of groove. You're moving my body constantly throughout the entire 34 minutes, but it's this kind of primal excitement. There's nothing in there making me think or making me consider the music I'm listening to. It's just really going along with these chugging riffs and the occasional breakdown. And they work well. I really like the intro in The Banner of Heaven, or to tie it back to my abused metaphor, the banana in heaven. It's got this huge, big chugging outro, and I really like that. It actually ended on a really positive note, which, made me go back to the album multiple times to be like, no, maybe I'm getting it by the end. But then I restart it and I listen through, and I pick up nothing again until I hit the outro Banner of Heaven. I'm like, maybe it's actually just one good section at the very end of the album. And I just find it really weird that such a technically adept band has put out such a middling album. It feels like it could be saved so easily by just a little bit more creativity in the songwriting, some more interesting riffs, some more interesting breakdowns that aren't what every other band in the genre is doing, a slightly better mix with the vocals cutting through clearly, with a decent pit call before the breakdown, just, a sick line that people will remember, deliver it with gumption. So those big hooks in hardcore that really make me remember songs in it. God, I rarely even remember the names of songs. You ask me what my favorite Lionheart song is, and I'll tell you it's the one that says, "Motherfucker, I'm ice cold." I don't know the name of it. It's probably called Ice Cold. I genuinely don't know. I think what really shook me the most about all of this is that I remember liking the last album, and then I went and saw them off the back of it, and I had a great time at the show, so I'm like, what's wrong here? Have I changed? And I went back and I listened to Severance again, and no, Severance is a really good album. It's got more variety in it. A lot of that variety comes from features, but, whatever, that's pretty stock standard for the genre. And there is only one feature on Armour of Angels, so, maybe that's it. Maybe they were propped up by their features, and then when they try to stand on their own two legs, realize that they just don't have it. But I don't think that's the case. I think they can have it. Maybe when they were writing for Severance, they wrote interesting segments to put a feature in, and this time they just didn't feel confident to write interesting segments to put their own material into? Don't know. It perplexes me because it's a step backwards, and they're such a in their prime band that I just don't expect a step backwards. Up until now, I think they're charging full steam ahead, and now it's, slammed into reverse. So in all, Armour of Angels, can't recommend it. Severance, good album. Go listen to Severance. As for Armour of Angels, mission failed. We'll get them next time. Hopefully they'll be more inspired as they step in the recording studio, more brave and willing to try something interesting, I guess. But hey, I'm not an expert in the genre. In fact, you could even call me a bit of a tourist in it. So, if you're a fan of this, tell me what I'm missing. Tell me what you think is memorable about it, because, I've listened to it about a dozen times since it came out 2 months ago, and I still just struggle to glue to it. I never turn it off. It's still entertaining me the whole way through. But, there's only 3 songs on here that I would actively go back and listen to. Banner of Heaven I've mentioned a few times. I think Burn's really good, and Cut from God's really good too. But the other 3/4 of the album just blows me by. But, as I said, if you like this, hope you're enjoying listening to it. If you don't like this, I hope you're listening to something that you are enjoying. And, until next time, take care of yourself. Peace out.